plan them out really before I do them. I just kind of jump into them. I put down some central limits, then I keep adding stuff and moving stuff around. And that's what I like about painting too with oils. You can do that. Acrylics dry fast. It's hard to cover them up. But with oils, they can sit for a couple days.
Let's go back to the old days. You started in this doing, what was it, graphic or painting? Or how did you get involved?
Old days.
Well, yeah,
I want to go way back when I started. I actually, was I still in school? I went to CCS. I kind of left on. It was a mutual thing that I should leave. So, and I worked for an agency years ago in Rochester, kind of part-time, doing layouts and illustration and stuff like that. I saw a bill one day, what they were billing for my work, and it was probably 4 times what they were paying me. And I thought, shoot, I can do this. Why should I work for them? And I can get clients of my own and do this work. So that's what I did. I quit. I stopped doing that. And over the years, I started working for agencies and doing little illustrations. And I'd get gigs. I did this one thing for 2 years, or about a year and a half, designing pizza boxes and doing the illustrations that go on.
Hey, which
and
one?
It was a pretty good gig until, because I got real formatted with it. It got real easy where I could just crank these things out, and they paid me so much for the layout, so much for the box. And there were a ton of them. I did them from like Florida on up to who knows where, New York. I still see some of them around.
So where do you kind of draw from? I love it's just like, to me, it's like a macabre, kind of like old school, the
sometimes
old
I'll listen to
monster cards, kind of,
Yeah, I'm influenced by all that stuff. The monster stuff, the horror magazines, the monster magazines, those little cards that we used to go with. I don't know, all that stuff.
Oh, yep.
So it's just kind of a hodgepodge. Sometimes I'll listen to the music and try to get a feel for the band. Sometimes they're just plain, nothing. They're just posters. But I always tried to make sure that you could see who it was and where they were playing. That's always the main. Some of these guys doing posters now, their illustration will be real big on there, which may or may not have anything to do with the band or the music. And then really small, it'll have the band and the date and where they're playing. So I always used it. I always made sure it was a poster. This was when I first got a computer. And realized, you can distort stuff, So I would scan, and even the early ones, I didn't have a computer, so I would take the photographs they gave me and put them on a Xerox.
So did you do this one for Metallica then?
Yeah,
okay.
These are all ones I did.
Okay. What year was this now?
There's 97.
Now let's go back to the story you're talking about. You said about the computers.
Well, they would send me a photo, their promo photos, the black and whites.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a computer, so I would take them and put them on a Xerox machine and keep copying them until, and hopefully they'd come out okay. Then once I got a computer, I realized I could scan these things in and make them look a little cleaner and a little nicer. A lot of times I like the old style stuff better, that's really cruder. And like this, you can tell I put this on a Xerox machine and just kept getting it till I could use it. Same thing with these. Right when I started doing posters, I was painting murals for restaurants.
Okay.
And I was doing it was probably the first time in my career that I was making decent money.
Right.
And I've painted long before that, dabbled in it, and the posters were just something I thought I'd do for fun, kind of a creative release. I never expected them to go as long as they did and for me to do as many as I did. So once I decided I just don't want to do many anymore and I'm just tired, I started focusing in on my painting. And it's always been kind of out of my head. I don't I'll look at something for a little bit of reference and not something. So I always felt that, when you get back and look at my paintings, they looked kind of cool, but the light sources weren't correct. I might have 2 or 3 light sources coming from different areas. The shadows weren't always right. So I decided that I wanted to get real serious about it. So I started setting up these still lifes here and shooting photographs of them and painting them so that I can look how light reflects off of other things and how shadows work and all that other stuff. So that's what these are. This is Mark Arminski, and you're watching Detroit Dungeon.